Hey, what's going on, everybody? Nick Frade here with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Paracle. I'm here with my good friend and busy preferred lender, Charles Puryear.
Hey, I'm Charles Puryear with CrossCountry Mortgage.
And we're excited to talk to you a little bit today. We're going to be hopefully doing more of these videos regarding lending and loans and what you guys need to do if you're looking to get ready to buy a house. But we wanted to film this one today because we've been working with a lot of clients lately and just thought it'd be beneficial for you guys to hear directly from the man. So I'll jump off and I'll start. And I work with a lot of clients who are buying homes, and sometimes they will be looking at homes or shopping for homes without actually talking to a lender. And so Charles is going to talk to you about why it's important to do that. But essentially, think of it like going shopping for anything that you want to buy, but you have no idea really what your budget is. And so Charles is going to talk to you about why it's important to speak to him before you guys go shopping for houses.
Yeah, sure. No, thank you again. So I think it's really important that you have a conversation with your lender before going out to make offers or start looking. It gives you a good understanding for the process, kind of what that looks like, as well as, more importantly, knowing what your buying power is. Just kind of giving a good understanding for how much you can qualify for, and then also loan options. There are tons of loans options that are available, and I think our job is to sit down and review your information and documentation and help you understand what those programs look like.
Yeah, and I can give you, maybe like a rough estimate based on some tools I have, but Charles or your lender is the one who's going to be able to give. I mean, he just did it this weekend. Had clients who were looking at 2 properties, and they wanted to know really accurately what their monthly payment was, and so he takes into account things like your HOA payment, your property taxes and insurance. So all those things that you might not get from a random online calculator, it's important that you guys talk to Charles. You might get a quote or see a number on a screen that shows like interest rate at whatever. I've had people get interest rates that come in a little higher than what they expected based on some things like credit or whatever. Or you might actually have an interest rate that's a little bit lower than what you think you can get, which actually happened with me and Charles as he was working with me on something. So that was a good information to get. So maybe just tell these guys why one interest rate you see in the world, online is not necessarily what someone can count on.
Yeah, sure. No, great question there. And, what I love to say is you can have any interest rate that you want, but there's a cost that could be associated with it, right? So I think it's important to really, really look at when you see an interest rate that is being provided to you, look at everything that comes along with that rate. And I generally say look at the APR, which is the cost of you obtaining that rate, because sometimes you'll see this number and it's a rate that's advertised, but there could be fees or points that are associated with getting you that rate. So I do like to look at, when I have conversations and you say, hey, I saw this rate, what's yours? I try to get as much information from you as possible so I can make sure we're doing apples to apples.
Yeah, it's good. The other thing that we wrote down that we wanted to touch on is kind of the process. You guys don't have to be scared of the process of getting kind of a loan estimate. Maybe
Sure.
you want to talk about like how that might start with a phone call or how you have an app and what people kind of do for that because they might not know.
Yeah, absolutely. So the process, what I generally like to do in our conversation is, number one, understand from you a little bit about what your goals are. We talk a little bit about, just some of the pertinent questions like your work history, different things. And then I can either do the application while we're on the phone, or if it's more convenient, I do have an online application that you can go and complete. Once that is in, I will call you back and we'll review everything. And what I generally like to do, I know some folks are concerned about having their credit pulled and not knowing, hey, am I going to qualify? And I don't want this to hit my credit. And that's a great concern there, I guess. And what I generally do with that is we can do a soft pull. It does not affect your credit score, but it does help me see the entire picture, because I can't really tell you what you can qualify for if I don't know all the ins and outs of what your credit looks like.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. If someone has a 520 credit score versus an 840 credit score, these are random numbers, there's going to be in different categories and different options to buy a house.
Sure.
So, and what you see as a credit score might not be what they get on their phone from an app or something like that. So
yes, that is definitely a lot of times when you look at your free credit reports, like my bank, Wells Fargo, offers me, like if I go online, it says, hey, here's your credit score, or American Express, any of these types of free credit report options, they're not going to be as accurate as the credit report that we pull. So when you say, hey, my score is 680, and I know that from Credit Karma or a free credit reporting agency, I'm still going to want to take a look at it, because unfortunately, historically, those aren't as accurate.
And we just want to make sure you're prepared. Like, that's the biggest thing is I never want a client to get excited about a property or get excited about making an offer thinking they're going to have like this monthly payment over here, but really when we do kind of a little digging behind the scenes, it's different. And so that's where we're coming from, is we just want to make you sure you're prepared. Speaking of which, Charles can go over a couple things that you want to have prepared if you're going to get ready and go ahead and make a loan application or speak to Charles about a mortgage.
Yes. So a couple things that I definitely would love to understand up front is affordability, right? So I'm going to ask you for your W-2s, so 2 years W-2s is what we're looking for, or tax returns for my self-employed borrowers, and your pay stubs, 30 days of pay stubs, and then how you're going to come up with the down payment. So understanding bank statements, 2 months of bank statements. So now when we're talking to my self-employed buyers, the reason that I do want to see your entire tax return is because what you make on your gross receipts and what you see is what you think your income may be different than how we calculate it, because we're looking at the taxable income number. So just really important to see all of that, just to give you a good understanding of what we can qualify you for.
Yeah, no, that's good. And again, we'll have conversations with you guys as we're going through this, and we wanted to give you just a little insight. We got one more question for today. Hopefully we'll have another video coming out soon, but this one's going to be going to Charles. I know some of the do's and don'ts about when you're under contract and how to work it from the agent side, but Charles is going to share a couple of things on what to do and what not to do, or what he would advise against after you go under contract, because there's still some time after that where the loan's getting processed, numbers are getting crunched. So he's going to touch on some things.
Yes, so the major thing that we ask, don't change your financial picture, right? So that means don't go out and apply for a different credit card. Don't go buy a car. Don't do any major purchases, right? Because again, if we have your income calculated, which we look at debt to income ratio, and you change that picture by going out and purchasing a car that may have several $100s of a payment with it, that could change your qualifying ratios. So we just ask to, and if there are circumstances where something has to happen, just have that conversation with me up front. Let me know that, hey, listen, this is what I have to do. This is an emergency. This is going to change. Will it hurt my scope? And I think as long as we're open and having those conversations, that can be helpful. But yes, and just avoid from major purchases and applying for credit cards, things like that.
Yeah. So some things you can do, like you can buy furniture. I would assume that you're going to have a conversation if it's like $20,000 worth of furniture versus a refrigerator or something like that. And again, Charles will be able to. Charles is great. I text him, he answers me, so you have someone that you can ask these questions to. If you're planning on retiring between when you go under contract and are going to close, if you're thinking about trying to get a new job, job changes influence the loan package a lot. So I don't know if there's anything else, but those are some main things. Yeah, no, like you just said, if those last couple of things you just mentioned are actually major changes, right? So that's going to fall under that category of, just let us know as much information as we can so we can be prepared. And I think that will help you not have any surprises during the process. Yeah. Okay, well, hey, we're not going to keep it too much longer. We just wanted to give you a little info. If you guys want to talk to Charles, I'm going to have all his info here in the video details, email, phone number. You guys can reach out to him. You can ask me any questions, and if and when I don't know, I'll ask Charles. And again, he's just our preferred partner here in the office, so we love working with him. So until next time, Charles, thank you so much for all your insight, and then hopefully we'll be able to help you guys with all your real estate needs in the future. So thanks. Awesome. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Take care.